Hey, Sam, thank you so much. I got it. The tennis.
No, you bet. You bet. Anytime.
I'm super excited to start this Power and Spin challenge with Tennis Express, and I really appreciate you guys saying this. So what I want to do is I want to string these things up and learn a little bit about what are the power rackets, what are the spin rackets that you sent to me, and what string should I put in what racket, and what should I string it at before I go do this. Then I'll probably start shooting all the great content next week.
For sure. Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. So why don't you got your screen pulled up there. Why don't you go to rackets in that upper left-hand corner there. Okay. I don't know if you got a touch screen or.
So I go here?
I believe so. Oh, yeah, I got it. There we go.
Racket. And rackets.
You got it. Let's go Babolat. All right.
That worked. Here we go.
There it is. All right. And then click on that 2021 Pure Drive. That's the one.
This is it. This is what you sent me.
That's the one.
That's this right here.
I think it's a pretty cool looking racket. I know the paint job's 2021, but it sure looks good.
You know, every time I see these, I still think of Andy Roddick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this right here.
Right. So the Pure Drive is sort of power and spin challenge. Like I want to try to really highlight the power feature here. So the reason why I sent you the Pure Drive is for players who are out there and everybody wants power, everybody wants spin, which is why the challenge is such a good idea, because I think it hits on what a lot of players are looking for. The Pure Drive has a very wide audience. You can create a lot of power with it because it's very maneuverable. It has that modern, crisp feel. And really, it's a racket that advanced players have used to, win national championships in college, to win professional tournaments. But it's also a racket that 3, 5, and 4-0 players have used to dominate the doubles court. It's kind of a point and shoot racket. It's pretty easy to play with, pick up and use. I just think it's sort of speaks to what we're all kind of looking for out there, is a racket that maybe makes the game a little bit easier. And I think that's the Pure Drive to a T. Not to get too nerdy on you, but it's got a firmer flex. It's got pretty much the standard 10.6 ounces unstrung weight, a medium swing weight, and this one's got a 16x19 string pattern with a 100 square inch head. So the strings are going to move. There's still plenty of spin to be had, but this racket can really get the ball from point A to point B quickly. So again, doesn't discriminate against shorter back swings. You can have shorter back swings, longer back swings. The Pure Drive is an excellent, powerful racket.
Awesome. And I believe you sent me 2 sets of strings, or can I get more than one racket out of these? Like, what do you suggest I just keep this string in here? Is this a good string for this racket, or should I use one of these strings you sent me? We can get into this now or a little later.
So I sent you a couple of sets of string. The first set of string I sent you is head velocity, and it's a really solid all-around multi-filament string. So multi-filament, all you players out there, think comfort, power, maybe a little bit more spin than you think, and of course just feel and touch. If you're somebody that wants power, velocity would really sing and make the ball fly in that Pure Drive. Another trade-off there is if you want the power from the Pure Drive, the velocity also offers quite a bit of comfort. So if you are somebody that's dealt with maybe that awful term tennis elbow, velocity is a great string to put in a racket that is a little bit stiffer to help protect the arm, and kind of pairs nicely with the powerful Pure Drive and then powerful and comfortable string and head velocity. The other set of string I sent you is, let's say you are looking to create lots of power, but you're somebody that has a little bit more of I guess I'd say kind of a modern top spin, low to high trajectory on the swing. Maybe windshield wiper would be kind of the term I'd use. That's that Hyper G. It's a really popular copolyester string. It's going to be a little bit firmer feeling than the velocity from earlier, but it's going to give you some nice control and bite to help you tame a really powerful racket in the Pure Drive. So one string sort of amplifies the power of the Pure Drive, that being the head velocity, and one string, the Hyper G, it sort of, helps you control that massive power that's in the Pure Drive.
And I hate to put you on the spot here. Can you tell by just looking at this string what it is, the red string, or no?
It looks to be red string.
Okay, there's lots of different ones. All right, I figured I didn't know if that would show you, but that's good. So that's my power. That's one of my power rackets. Okay, and you guys also sent me this, which looks really, really cool. Is this Berrettini's racket?
So yeah, so this is the Extreme MP. He endorses the Extreme line on the Pro Tour. This one, in a lot of ways, it looks kind of, if you look at it from the side, like it's a different color of a Pure Drive, but this one has a couple of differences. And while it's still, I would say, a powerful frame, this one has a unique grommet structure at the 12 o'clock at the top, and then at the bottom of the head with larger grommets. And so what those larger grommets do is when the ball hits the string, it allows the strings to move more at contact. And what we've learned over the last several years is that while string movement can be harder on the strings and break strings, string movement is also what's creating that massive spin that we're seeing. And so there is a little bit of trade-off. If you get a racket that's really going to help you with your spin, it also might mean that you're breaking some more strings. But I've always said, if that's happening, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Broken strings should be sort of a badge of honor, provided it's not happening every day. But in this head Extreme, it's a little bit of a softer flex, I'd say it's kind of in the middle, 100 square inch head, a similar variable beam design. That just means it kind of gets thinner in the shaft and thicker towards the head, and then thinner towards the tip again. This one also has a much wider open string pattern. So just the spacing between the strings is bigger. And again, that gives you more travel on the string bed. The strings are going to move more. One thing players will notice with the Extreme is shots are coming off their racket and they feel like they're going higher over the net. Maybe you typically hit 2 to 3 feet over the net. You pick up an Extreme, you're going to be hitting shots 5 or 6 feet over the net without really changing your setup or your stroke, and you're going to find a lot of these balls are still landing in. It's a little bit of a kind of get used to. It's like, oh man, I've hit that forehand, it's going way out, and then you sort of see it come down inside the baseline. Best feeling for you, not so good a feeling for your opponent. But so yeah, that's the Extreme. It's a similar playing racket to the Pure Drive. I think the Pure Drive, out and out power, like I said, point A to point B. The Extreme really helps you kind of load up your shots that are going to bounce up and give your opponent a hard time on the other side of the court.
Ooh, I think I'm going to like this one. I'm excited to use it. Did Musetti use this too or no?
I think he used to. Somebody else does. Alejandro Davidovich Fokina from Spain uses the Extreme as well.
Mm-hmm. So if I do that, I go to head.
Yeah, so we'll go head and scroll down a little bit. Keep it rolling past the radical. Lots of good rackets right now.
Oh, yeah.
Past the gravity. There we go.
So which one did you send me?
I believe I sent you the MP, and that's sort of the more universal, 10.6 ounce weight. So it's pretty user friendly. Again, 16 by 19 string pattern, 100 square inch head. The Extreme isn't just a copy of like a power racket. This one has that auxetic technology, so it does offer quite a bit of feel for a racket that has a kind of a thicker beam design. A lot of times you see a thicker beam design and you think, oh, that's not going to have any feel. It's going to be super stiff. And that's not really the case anymore. The manufacturers have kind of figured out different ways to help you keep the feel for the ball that you want, but also kind of reward you with a little more spin potential and a little bit more pop. I do kind of like the new cosmetic on the Extreme for this year. It's just really back to that very bright kind of highlighter yellow color. So as far as strings with this one, Pete, sort of a similar story. If you're somebody that wants to add a little power and comfort to the extreme, I think velocity is a great way to go. You could even string the velocity a little bit tighter because it's a softer material overall. So, Pure Drive and Extreme, I'd say you could string that, 56, 57 pounds and be just fine with the comfort. If you want to really dial up the spin and have some enhanced control, that Hyper G in this racket, I would recommend, maybe around 50 pounds, maybe around 48 pounds. It's going to help you control that, heavy top spin stroke that you have. You're going to be able to get the ball to come down, and that Hyper G will last a little bit longer than the velocity will. So yeah, that's kind of a rundown of what I sent you and why I sent you. There's really no wrong answers. I think both rackets that we've looked at so far, you'd enjoy with both strings. It's just kind of fine tuning what you're really wanting. It may be, Pete, that you try the Pure Drive and you're having a hard time almost controlling the power a little bit. You go, oh, well, maybe the velocity is not for me in that racket. Maybe I need something that can give me a little bit more control. And so that's what I tried to send you, is just that contrast. If you want to add control to a very powerful racket, then a great way to do it is with that polyester, the Hyper G. If you want to add comfort and enhance the power even more on a spin or a power racket, then the velocity is hard to beat.
Yeah, very cool. And then I just want to point out that you guys got this to me pretty quickly in the Tennis Express box, and so people can go there and do a demo program, right? They can use how is the demo program if someone were to go and look at and they want to try this head racket and they want to get it in a nice box and get all excited. Can you walk me through the process of how somebody would do that?
Sure, absolutely. So we have a demo program. If you scroll all the way back to the top there, rackets, and then demo. Yeah. So you can just click that top one, just demo rackets for all brands. So, depending on the time of the year, most manufacturers will, if you order demos from Tennis Express, let's say you order, you can order up to 3 models at a time, return them in a couple of weeks, you'll get a prepaid shipping label that comes in the box. So you try the rackets for a couple of weeks, slap the label on the box, you can send them back. It's really a great way to try, new equipment sort of on your own local court, or where you're comfortable playing. Sometimes you try a racket brand new in an unfamiliar location. There can be a lot of other things going on. So sometimes it's nice to just, you're not standing in the showroom trying to figure out if it's good for you. You actually get to go out to where you like to play or with your doubles group, and you can kind of test the rackets out on your own time. And I think unquestionably that's the best way to do it. What I started to say earlier is most of the manufacturers, if you pay the demo fee and we ship you demo rackets, they'll actually give you that credit onto a racket if you end up buying, let's say you end up buying a Wilson Ultra or you end up buying a Head Extreme. Most of the time, the $25 portion of that demo fee will go towards the purchase of your racket. So it's kind of a great way that the manufacturers and Tennis Express want to make sure that the players get the racket that they really want and it's best for their game, instead of, kind of being in the showroom and shadow swinging and going, oh, this is the perfect racket for me. And, then you drop the coin down, and a couple of weeks later, you're like, man, maybe this wasn't exactly what I needed. So we want our customers to find what's best for them. And the best way to do that is to, test drive it. I just was shopping for cars the other day. You're not going to buy a car without test driving it, or I hope you're not. But that's the way to do it.
Test drive it for a couple of weeks either. I mean,
no, you don't.
Buying a tennis racket, I've thought about this. Buying a tennis racket is probably one of the best experiences you can have as far as not going through buyer's remorse if you go about it the right way, because it's one of the few things in your life that you can go and really, really try.
I always say, I've mentioned it to you before, Pete, we buy cell phones, every year, and you don't get to try your cell phone for a month before you decide if you like it. I mean, it's a pretty substantial purchase, and all those manufacturers out there, I'm calling you out. That'd be a good idea. Maybe let people try out the phones. But you're absolutely right. I think the tennis racket buying process, I think some people maybe are a little bit intimidated by it, but it really can be a fun process. Yeah. And the industry and the way it's done is designed to help customers get what they need. Yeah. We're not about trying to get you in the wrong equipment. That doesn't help anybody. We're trying to, get you what you really want, to really, more than anything, give you some energy and make you want to go play. Like that's the bottom line. That's why we all do it, because we want to be motivated to go out there and be our best on the court.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that when the box showed up, I was so excited. I was like a kid opening a Christmas present. Okay, so you did send me a bonus racket that we have.
Yeah, so I threw the Ultra in there, and it's, in my opinion, it's a little bit, if you've got extreme for spin and you've got pure drive for power, I feel like the Ultra is maybe a little, or tilted a little bit towards the power window, but it's closer to the middle, in my opinion, of these rackets. With version 4 of the Ultra, they kind of thinned out the shaft, which is basically the material above the grip and before the strings. So that's a little bit thinner. So I feel like it makes the frame a little bit more dynamic, a little more maneuverable. Pretty similar to the other two, actually, as far as dimensions. 10.6 ounces, 16 by 19 string pattern, 100 square inch head. But a really solid playing racket from Wilson. I think I would say maybe a little bit more comfortable than the Pure Drive, maybe a little less powerful, but all in all, a great option. And I know this racket is marketed more towards power, but I've been impressed and heard from other playtesters that the Ultra is actually pretty spin friendly as well. So it's kind of maybe a best of both worlds. If you're not sure if you want more spin, or if you're not sure if you want more power, you'd probably be able to have success with any of these frames. But I think the Ultra is a good one to throw in there, just because it's kind of more in the middle.
Yeah. So you said something that got me excited. So I know because I got 3 rackets, and you said something like, if I add this to this, I'm going to get like hyper spin, right? Did I hear you right on that?
Yeah. So like all things, in order to create spin, it's going to be about racket head speed and what that swing plane looks like. But if you are producing quite a bit of racket head speed, and you are familiar and you are hitting top spin shots, Hyper G is a great complement to that stroke style. So it's like having I guess the comparison I'd say is it's like having a performance car, and it's going to take premium gas, right?
Okay.
And to me, if you're gonna have an extreme, if you're really gonna play with lots of spin and explosive, and your stroke mechanics are very solid, the way to make that racket sing is with a copolyester string like Hyper G.
It's got the green strings too. So I mean,
that's right.
It's a no-brainer. So I think if I heard you right, I'm gonna put 50 pounds on this.
Yeah, that's a good way to go. And the Hyper G also is shaped. I think it's 5-sided, so it's going to have a little extra bite on the ball as well.
I love when they got the grab on them. Now this string to me looks solid. I only have 2, so this looks like some kind of poly or whatever. Now this looks like a synthetic gut, if I'm right. So I think I want to string this one up with the velocity. Do you think that's
I think that's a good play. And if I were you in that racket with the velocity, I'd go a little tighter. I think I mentioned earlier, like maybe 56, 57 pounds. It's a soft string. So I want to make sure that you have, that tighter tension will give you a little bit more control in a softer material like that.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, hey guys, if you're watching this video, and you haven't signed up yet, you can go to powerandspinchallenge.com, or I might just even put this on a website where you can click a link and sign up for the Power and Spin Challenge. This is very educational. very motivational. Now I'm even more excited. I'm going to run out today, go get these strung up, and then hit the court and start teaching people how to get more power and spin on their serve, their forehand, and their backhand with technology. And I've been saying, Sam, you know, we talked about Agassi, and Agassi was recently interviewed about the game, his day compared to today, and he said you can't, you know, and I consider Agassi modern tennis. That's how old I guess I am, but I consider him like modern tennis. And he said you can't compare because the technology is so different that the way the shots come off the racket is different, which is actually changes the technique a little bit. So, which is one of the things, there's a couple new things I've been working on my technique, on my serve, my forehand, that I can't wait to teach people as well, to get a little more extra pop on their serve and their forehand.
For sure. Yeah. Well, who doesn't want more power and spin?
We all want it. So
we all want it.
We'll try and deliver it to him in the challenge. And I just want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I know the U.S. Open's going on right now as we're recording this, so I know you got a lot to do. But I'm so happy you gave me that guide that does clear things up for me. I'm going to go get these things tuned up and ready to go.
All right, that sounds like a plan. I'm excited to see the challenge, and then we'll hopefully a lot of people will get more power and more spin in their game.
Sounds good.